Hey everybody, Michael Reno, Harrell here with Mostly Acoustic, and I'm in one of the most fun places you could be. I'm here with my friend Tim White from the PBS television series Song of the Mountains. Tim and I have more in common than music. Some of you may know and some of you may not, and some of you may not care, but we both started out in the sign business, and Tim still is.
Yep, I love it.
Tim's been in it for a long time. We're in his shop here, and it's like a museum. We're going to walk around and just show you some of this amazing stuff that's hanging from the rafters and
A little dust
all
on
over
some
the
of
walls.
it. Yeah.
And this is mostly all stuff that you've made, isn't it?
Well,
Tim?
a lot of it is, yeah. You know, I collect things. I like old signs. You know, like you'll see these old thermometers hanging around, old Kern's bread and cigarette signs and thermometers. I love that old vintage stuff too.
Yeah. Wow.
That bicycle there was my bicycle when I was a little boy.
That was your banana seat?
That was it. I sandblasted it and painted it. And
A-hanger
restriped it.
handlebars?
Yeah. Donnie Ollis, my guitar player, helped me restore that. So just keep stuff like that. And I like to come down here. We rehearse in this room. My band.
Yeah.
I play with two bands, the VW Boys and Troublesome Hollow. So this is our rehearsal hall. And actually, last year we recorded an album in this room.
Did you?
Jeremiah Nave, a good friend of mine, came up from Nashville and set up a portable studio, and we've actually recorded music here.
Well, you know, the sound is good in here.
Yeah.
I bet the acoustics are good for recording.
Yep.
Boy, look at all. Let's just sort of start around the walls here.
All right, you lead the way.
Good Lord. Is this the Fox on the Run?
Well, I used to have beagles, raise beagles here on this property, and we'd run rabbits, and occasionally a rabbit dog will get on the fox, and so that fox was a long journey for about 3 of my beagle dogs one day. This is an interesting piece. It's a banjo picker, as you can tell. I used to have an old Connecticut Yankee that worked for me back in the 1980s, and he taught me how to wood carve, and that was me. He never finished it. He's like a lot of those old journeymen. They'd show up for a season and then they'd be gone. So he got that far with it, and that's carved out of redwood. But the good thing about that, he taught me how to wood carve, and you'll see some of my work on around the wall here.
Oh, there's all kind of beautiful carving going on.
Mentored me on the wood carve. Vinyl.
Vinyl for vinyl letters.
Yeah.
And of course, you do hand lettering as well.
Yeah, I do a lot of pinstriping.
A lot of pinstriping. You do a lot of street rods and that sort of thing?
Yeah, motorcycles. I even do guitars.
Ah.
I've pinstriped many guitars, so you guitar pickers, you want something striped, let me know.
What, you worry?
Yep, that's right. I grew up with that fella right there, Alfred E. Newman.
We all did.
Mad Magazine, so I did that little piece for me. I just wanted one. And this
now the little fire truck, pedal car there.
Well, actually, that's a station wagon. The
is
fire
that
truck
what it is?
looks similar, but they had a
they had
couple of
ladders
on
it.
it. Yeah. But that's an old pedal car. It's about 1949 Pontiac station wagon. I used to have one of those when I was a kid. I remember riding it, and I saw that on Facebook Marketplace, and it was rusty. So I bought it, brought it back here, sandblasted it, painted it, and pinstriped it.
Wow.
Put it back together.
And that's from the old movie, the old black and white movie up there about the first trip to the moon.
Yeah, it's called A Trip to the Moon.
Yeah.
Yep. Then the Bristol, Tennessee sign, I did, that's an extra one I just did to hang on the wall. I did a lot of those for the city of Bristol several years ago. I love the hand-carved signage. It's very unique, and not everybody can do those.
No, the company I was started, Sun Sign Graphic, our partner and I, we did lots of redwood signs, a lot of hand carving and gold leafing and that sort of thing. You and I have a lot in common.
Yeah, we do.
Now this is a friend of yours up here. Here's some of your pinstriping. Here's some motorcycle helmets.
Right.
Nice work.
And it's all done with paint. There's no vinyl on that. I do have the vinyl cutting machines, but my labor of love is the old school gold leafing, airbrushing, pinstriping, wood carving.
Wow.
And nowadays, we don't make them out of redwood any longer. It's high density urethane.
Well, right here's an interesting piece you're working on. You showed us this when we first came in.
Yeah, it's my buddy Frank.
This guy looks familiar.
Yeah, I'm working on old Frank there, and just started him. A lot of times I'll just do these things for myself, just to hang up as an example or as a sample, but the They're all for sale. You want to buy one?
You know, maybe we can work out a trade.
All right. But that's the high density urethane. It carves good with the chisels and sandblasts very well. You use woodworking tools on it, but
Well, it feels like wood too, doesn't it?
yeah, it does.
It works like wood. I've worked with it myself. It's great.
Well, you drop it like a 2 foot by 2 foot piece of it on the concrete floor. It sounds like wood. So it's really good stuff.
Neat. All these old signs, and of course, Sheriff from Mayberry sign up there. You
Oh
gotta
yeah, I'm a
have
big
that.
Andy Griffith Show fan. I've actually, I think you know this, but I've got 3 of those D18 Andy Griffiths that they put out. I think back in '03.
Yeah.
Those are one of my. I like a D18 anyway, but
Yep.
that's one of my favorite guitars. Is the Andy
Yeah.
Griffith model.
Yeah.
It's got the clear pick guard on it because Andy's, if you notice on the show,
Never had a
never
pick
had a
guard.
pick guard
Yeah.
on it. So.
Yeah, he said when he was in New York, he had a guy work on the guitar, and he took that pick guard off, and it just stayed off.
Well, from what I hear, and I'm pretty sure it's accurate, that guitar was used in the movie Facing the Crowd.
Yeah.
And they painted it up and rhinestoned it up. Well, they were going
He
to
had
get
it
rid of
redone,
it.
yeah.
And he said, let me have that guitar. I want to keep it. And
Yeah.
so that's why the pick guard ended up off of it. not
Wasn't
put
much
back.
funny in that movie, was it?
No, sure wasn't.
Here's a great piece of memorabilia right here. We were talking about this earlier. Back when you could buy Coca-Cola syrup, and there was a line on the glass at the fountains, and then they would.
Yep, put
And then
the
stir it
carbonated
up.
water
Put the
on the whole
carbonated
top
water.
of the syrup. But that's an old piece. I just, like I said, that's an old advertising piece. And since I'm in the sign painting business, I run across something like that, I usually nab it.
Who are the fellas up here, one in uniform? Who are they? Do you know?
The fellow in uniform, I never met him. He died in 1945.
In the war.
In the war. He was killed by a German machine gunner. His name was Otis White, and never got to meet him, but he was a hero. Served in the Army and died in World War II. And the other fellow on the right, that's my grandfather. His name is my mother's father. His name was Robertson, John Robertson. He died when I was about 7 years old, but I do remember him.
Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, and Orange Crush. Here's a piece of Americana from my childhood. Big Daddy Ed Roth,
Yep, he was a hero.
the Rat Fink.
Yeah, I studied a lot of his pinstriping. Of course, he built street rods. And,
Yeah.
very unique individual.
Oh, he
very
was.
interesting.
Yeah, built some amazing street rods and tricycles and all that kind of stuff.
But I guess his claim to fame was that rat fink.
Yeah, the Rat Fink.
Mm-hmm.
And they sold he was the first guy to sell T-shirts, airbrush T-shirts and silkscreen T-shirts, you know.
Yeah, he's way ahead
He's
of
the
his
guy,
time.
yeah. Song in the Mountains, the Lincoln Theater. This is the original piece of art for
Yes.
another mural you did.
Yeah, I did a mural up in Marion, Virginia, right across from the Lincoln Theater where we do the show, Song of the Mountains. And that's my original canvas. It's in an odd shape because that's the shape the wall is in, the dimensions of the wall. So anyway, I brought that back and propped it up there. But that's what I always start out with a canvas made to scale when I'm going to do a mural. So that's
and of course
the
you're
canvas.
very well known for the big mural on State Street in Bristol of the original Bristol sessions. And here's a picture of that for you. Tim's got the original picture. This is in his living room.
Yeah, that was the original canvas I
Yeah.
did, which, like I said, coincided with the dimensions on the actual wall in
Yeah.
Bristol.
Yeah, done to scale. Well, as a matter of fact, right here, here's some memorabilia from the original.
Yeah, those are some of
Mural.
the brushes I used and the boots that I wore when I painted the mural. I've redone the mural once. I painted it originally in '86, redid the mural because it fades in the sun. Redid it in 1999, and my son helped me. His name was Murph, and he was a teenager back in '99. The first time I painted it in '86, he was a small child. In '99, he was a teenager, so I had him sign his name under mine.
I noticed
because
that,
he helped
yeah.
me. And now the city's going to have me redo the mural again this year. It's been 21 years since I repainted it in '99, so I'll be out there on a lift this coming spring redoing it again.
And of course, you're well known for your association with Possums, and there's two.
Yeah, I use those on the Possum tapes. It's a CD You can find it at Fat Dog Records, and those are the possums I had the taxidermist make up, and you'll see those on the cover of that CD. Jimmy and Jesse's on the CD. Jimmy Martin, Roy Husky Jr. A lot of great pickers, and those were the possums. Taxidermist thought I was a nut. I brought him 2 dead possums in. And by the way, I did not hurt the possums. They were roadkill.
They were roadkill.
Yeah.
And you always advertise for them, don't you?
Yeah, well, I have the Possum Spotters Club on my
Right,
radio
right,
show.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Tim White's radio show, which is on...
It's on about 60 or 70 stations. TheTimWhiteBluegrassShow.com. You can see my affiliates there, and many of them stream.
Triumph Motorcycles, authorized dealer.
I just found that. It was in an antique shop in Elizabethton, Tennessee, as an old window, and I had to have it.
I had a 650 Triumph. It's the reason this leg doesn't work from kicking that doggone thing.
Yeah, but look
over
at
the
it.
years.
I bought it. You know why I bought it? Because of the old hand lettering that's on it.
Yeah.
We used to do it all like that.
Well, there's some amazing stuff here. Here's the father of bluegrass music,
Yep.
Mr. Bill Monroe. Tim?
Then I paint on canvas too. You see some of my pop bottles there, and
Yeah.
I don't know. This is my hideout, my man cave, as they say. I come down here and spend a lot of time. Good place. I've seen your place where you go hide and write songs. I do the same thing in here. You need a place like this.
Well,
and,
when we moved to where we are now, Joan claimed one of the guest bedrooms for her office, and I said, well, I better build me one away from here.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, yes, you better.
Yeah.
So,
well, this shop sits separate from the house, as you
mine
see,
does
and yours
too.
does
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's always a treat to come over and look at all your cool stuff, Tim. Thanks for having us.
Another thing I like about this, I have a cigar down here. She
Yeah.
won't let me have one up in the house.
Yeah, I noticed you got your little humidor over here.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's great to visit and look at what you're getting into.
Well, you're welcome anytime.
Well, thanks.
Appreciate you.
Let's go get some barbecue.
Let's do it.
All right. See ya.